Welcome students to our chapter Database Management Using Access, where we will learn how to use technology to keep our files safe and backed up. A very important thing to do and learn indeed. So let's go right ahead. Now, traditionally, a file system was used for storing and organizing files. But it does not have a crash recovery mechanism. Hence, if a system crashes or the data is lost while entering some data, then the content of the file will be lost. Thus, a database management system is used to store and retrieve data in an efficient manner. Let's learn what data actually is. Data is a collection of raw or unorganized facts that needs to be processed to make it meaningful and organized. For example, the numbers 111 and 68. So now let's look at what information is. When the data is processed, organized and structured in a specific way to make it meaningful and useful, it is called information. And its example would be, if the data is 110 and 89, then the information would be the roll number of students is 110 and his or her marks in computer is 89. So the data 110 and 89 become useful for the student. Moving on to what a database is. It is a collection of data organized in a manner that allows easy access, retrieval and use of that data. In a manual database, you might record data on paper and store it in a filing cabinet. Examples would be a telephone directory or a normal dictionary, list of employees in a company and books in a library. This is what database looks like. Let's explore a few more examples of a database. In hospitals, a database of patients is kept for doctors to access anytime. In schools, the students' database are made by teachers of personal information and academic performances. In libraries, a database of all the books kept and issued. In supermarkets and e-commerce websites, the database of all their products are made. And now let's go ahead and learn about database management system. Softwares that help to organize data are called DBMS or database management system. It provides tools to store, add, modify and delete data, search for specific data and generate printed reports of data. It acts as an interface between the database and the application software that uses the database. There are several DBMS available in the market. For example, OpenOffice, MySQL, Oracle, Microsoft Access, and others. The advantages of database management systems are the reduced data redundancy. Data redundancy occurs when the same piece of data is stored in two or more separate locations. For example, in this table, the record of James is repeated 2 times, which is not necessary and is a waste of space. Second advantage is sharing of data, meaning multiple users can use the same database to extract the data according to their needs. Third is data security. In a DBMS, the database administrator has complete control of the database and can ensure that data is accessible only with permissions. Fourth and last is backup and recovery of data. DBMS automatically takes backup and recovers a computer system after a crash or system failure. Let's proceed with the disadvantages now. First is high cost of running DBMS. The cost of the hardware and software requirements for the proper working of DBMS is very high. Second is database failure. In case the database fails, the whole data in a database is lost. And third and last is performance. The performance of large databases is very slow. Now, let's head into the next important part of our chapter, which is the introduction to Access. Access is a database management system that was launched by Microsoft. It is a part of the Microsoft Office suite. It is used to help organizations such as companies and schools to collect, organize, manage, and access data in such a way that it can be easily accessed by users. Let's see its uses. Access can create databases and tables, store data in the form of tables, access data in a database as required, and print data in the form of reports. The databases in Access are composed of 4 components: tables, queries, forms, and reports. A table is the main component of a database management system. A table, like spreadsheet software, uses rows and columns to present the data, meaning a table is a collection of data arranged in the form of rows and columns like shown here. Each row in a table is called a record, which contains data interrelated to each other. Each column in a table is called a field. Next component is a form, a user-friendly interface that provides users the facility to enter data in tables and queries. A form has an attractive interface that accepts data from the users and allows the user to view the data stored in a table. Next is a report. It is used to display the selected data in a printable format. The fourth and the last component of databases in Access is query. It is used to display the specific data as required by the user based on some conditions. Now let's learn how to open Access and create a database. To open Microsoft Access, start by clicking on Start. Then
navigate Programs and select Access 2010.
Here, finally, choose Blank Desktop Database to create a new database. This window will appear. Here, specify the file name in the File Name text box and click on Create. The screen that appears now contains the components of an Access window. The title bar is the topmost horizontal bar. It displays the name of the current database we are working on. The Quick Access toolbar lets you access common commands. You can customize the commands depending on your preference. The ribbon contains all of the commands to perform common tasks in Access. It has multiple tabs, each with several groups of commands. The navigation pane displays all the objects contained in your database. You can open, rename, and delete objects using the navigation pane. The Document Tabs bar displays all open objects in tabs. To view an object, click its tab. The Work area is where we create forms, tables, and reports. It differs according to the database element selected. The Record search box can be used to search for any term in the current object. The first result will be selected automatically. To navigate through additional results, press the Enter key on your keyboard. The Record navigation bar allows us to navigate records one at a time. Click the arrows to navigate through the records. You can jump to a specific record by typing its ID number into the box. Now about opening an existing database. Before you enter data or modify your objects, you will need to open your database. For that, you firstly select the File tab to go to Backstage View. Then click Open. Next, click on Browse. The Open dialog box will appear. Then lastly, locate and select the database and click Open. While working on a database, we have 2 options to view it. These views assist in creating and changing the table structures. First is Datasheet View. In this view, the table is shown as a grid of rows and columns. The fields are displayed as columns and the records are displayed as rows. Second option is the Design View. In the Design View, you can enter the field's name, data types, and descriptions. The Design View has 2 more views. First is the Field Grid pane. In this pane, you can define the field's names, their data types and descriptions. Second is Field Properties pane. This section is used to set properties for the fields defined in the table. Next, let's check out how to close a database. Start by selecting the File tab to go to Backstage View. Then select Close. After that, if you have any unsaved objects, a dialog box will appear for each one asking if you would like to save it. Select Yes to save the object, No to close it without saving, or Cancel to leave your database open. Let's look at data types in Access. A data type is used to define the type of data that can be entered in a particular field. You can enter text, which are alphanumeric values, numbers, which are decimal or numeric values, and date and time, that are date values. A field with a number data type will not allow you to enter text values. These are the common data types used in Access along with their descriptions. Let's see this together. First is short text, which is text or combinations of text and numbers that does not require calculation, such as phone numbers, addresses, and can contain a maximum 255 characters. Second is long text, which is a long amount of alphanumeric data with 64,000 characters. Next is number, which is numeric data with or without decimal values. Then date or time, which are date and time values. Fifth is currency, which are monetary values. Sixth is auto number. It is used to store a unique value generated automatically by Access for each new record. Then we have yes or no, which are fields that contain only one of these two values. Yes or no, true or false, or on or off. Next is OLE object, which are pictures, graphs, or other objects from other Windows-based application. And ninth and lastly is hyperlink, a link addressed to a document or a file on the internet. Now, let's begin with how you can create a table in Access. Whenever you create a new database, a default table, that is table 1, is automatically created. You can add the fields for this table and rename it. But here is how you create a new one. First, you need to select the Create tab and click Table from the Tables section. A new table with the name Table 1 is created. Then the created table structure appears, as shown below in the Design view. Here, you can design the structure of the table by defining the fields of the table. Next, enter the required file names and select the appropriate data type. And then you have it. Moving on to Field Properties. The Field Properties pane is displayed in the lower half of the Design view. It allows you to control some features of a field, such as its size and the values allowed in the field. For example, to allow decimal values in a field of number database, you must make its field size as single instead of the default long integer. These are the properties for a field having the number data type. Field size allows you to specify the maximum number of characters that can be entered in the field. Format allows you to select the format in which text, numbers, and date and time are displayed from the drop-down list. Decimal place lets you select how many numbers can appear to the right of the decimal point. Input mask provides a template with punctuation marks to make the data input easier. Caption is for when the field has a difficult name. You can enter a more descriptive name in the caption text box. Default value is used to enter the default content for every record. This content can be edited later. Indexed indicates whether the field has been indexed. Index helps to make sorting and searching through a field faster. Validation rule allows you to establish a rule for entering data in a field. And lastly, validation text is used to specify the error message if someone enters data that violates the validation rule. Let's see how to work with the different views we learned about previously, which are design and datasheet view. In the design view, you can define the fields of the table, while the datasheet view is used to enter the records in the table. And to open a table in this view, you first select the table from the Tables pane in the Home tab. Then you right-click on the table name and select the Design view to open the table in the Design view. And now you can edit or change the field names or data types of fields in a table. And in the datasheet view, you can enter the records in a table. For this, you need to select the table in which you wish to enter records from the Tables pane. Then click the View Datasheet View option present in the View section of the Home tab. The Datasheet View window appears, after which you enter the data value in each field. You can use the Tab key to move from one cell to another. Now, having made a table and adding your data, this is what you can do to the deleting records in a table. Start by opening the table in Datasheet view and select the record or records to be deleted. Then right-click and select the Delete Record option. A dialog box will appear asking for confirmation to delete the records permanently. After that, click Yes to delete the record. The selected record is deleted permanently. To rename a table, this is what you need to do. By default in a database, a table is saved with the name Table 1. So, to rename it, first right-click on the table that you wish to rename from the Tables pane. Then click the Rename option from the drop-down menu, following which type the new name and press the Enter key to confirm the name. Finally, the table will be renamed. To completely delete a table, you can right-click on the table that you wish to delete from the Tables pane. Then click the Delete option to delete the selected table. A confirmation deletion window appears to make sure if the user really wants to delete the table. Finally, click Yes to delete the table from the database. If all is well after making a database, to save your changes and close it, start by selecting the File tab, after which the File menu appears. Then click Save to save the database. If you want to save the database with a different name, click the Save Database as option from the File menu. After that, a Save As window appears. Add a suitable file name in the File Name text box. Then click the Save option. And a database with the desired name is saved and the address name appears on the title bar. And this is how database work in Microsoft Access and how to use it to your advantage. See you soon, students. Bye-bye.